Let's talk anime! Hello and welcome to Brandon's Discuss Anime, the Reckless Amoeba podcast. I am your host, Brandon Horvath, and as usual, I am not alone on this anime adventure. With me as usual are Brandon Falinger.
I thought this was the rainy day ASMR video. Why am I here?
Oh yes, I posted that a while back, and that should be a good explanation of how much rain we've been getting here in eastern Pennsylvania.
I feel like I was drowning the entire time it was happening.
This past August has been like, what, 80% rain? 90%?
I'm gonna go with about 60% rain, 40% oppressive humidity and heat. It's miserable. It's so bad. I want to die.
But luckily, Ryan Stokiel works nights, so he won't have to deal with the humidity.
Oh, it's still there. It don't disappear overnight.
Awful.
It's just less hot.
How's it going, Ryan?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
At least somebody's having a fun time.
So, Brandon, I know you love Fate Grand Order.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear what one of the designers had to say about the latest Summer Swimsuit Festival?
I assume that's the Japanese version.
Yes.
And no, I haven't.
Shun Inokito, and I'm probably messing up that name.
Most likely.
Upon designing characters, he notes the boobs are important.
I mean, they're usually nothing but bikinis, so yeah, they kind of are.
But he made extra special lines and arrows pointed to them to be like, sexiness!
I mean, again, this is literally a swimsuit event. What do you want? I mean, I've showed you some of the noble phantasms for these characters where they're just ludicrous. Where one of them just summons in a dragon that spins like a top inside like a giant turtle shell, which hammers on a character only for the servant to come in and start like JoJo punching it. Like, it's fucking ludicrous and I love it. There's the point where you just have fucking King Arthur wielding a goddamn, like, water pistol, shoving Excalibur into it, and then launching it at a fucking monster or whatever the target is. And then it just going off like Team Rocket, blasting off again.
Even with a little ding star.
It's so stupid and I love it. Oh god. This time, look, Fate Grand Order people, if you're listening to this, alright, thank you, because you've literally given me some of the things I've really wanted out of this so far. And and I haven't had to put money into it. It's great. I just got it from stupid luck. I finally got Jack the Ripper. I finally got Joan of Arc. I got Archer from, Fate Stay Night, that Archer, Emiya. And I got, the Egyptian pharaoh Nitocris, who, actually she's interesting, because she doesn't technically exist. She's a folklore, from what I understand.
But isn't Robin Hood kind of folklore?
They explain it more along the lines of Robin Hood exists, but it was more of a title that was inherited rather than a single person.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In the case of Nitocris, I actually looked into this as far as like wikiing the thing, right? In that some people say it was a mistranslation, other people say other things, but there's supposedly, what ended up happening is that she became pharaoh because somebody assassinated her brother within the Egyptian government system. Like powerful nobles or whatever within that government system assassinated her brother for whatever reason. She then managed to gather them all together and then within this banquet room flood it with the Nile and then committed suicide afterwards after killing them all. There's a few other ones, but a lot of her incarnations pull from different books that are written about her, even though, again, there's no historical fact to back up her existence.
And although I wasn't originally going to talk about this, you just reminded me about, is it just a title? But James Bond
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's rumors that not only 007, but James Bond is also a code name.
That would be interesting. Also, in the most recent, what was it? What's it called? Fuck. I'm blanking on the word for it right now. It's the, singularities in
Yes.
Fate Grand Order. We ran into Sherlock Holmes, who's apparently a servant as well. He exists as a servant. It's great. And he has like a Dr. Octopus kind of like backpack that has a whole bunch of different like magnifying glasses on it. It's so stupid.
But will make people think of James Bond as a code name even more is one of the people up for James Bond is Idris Elba, who is African American.
I mean, have you ever considered the fact that maybe James Bond is actually, Doctor Who? Or, the same race, he's a Time Lord, he's regenerating after the end of his movie series and becoming a new character.
Or like the old 007 retires. That's like how I think of it.
Yeah,
No,
but
no,
why does
I
everybody have the same name of James Bond?
No,
So
no, I
is
prefer-
James Bond as much of a code name as 007?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like alias Tater Salad.
Obviously, he's just going out and bathing in the blood of virgins to reinvigorate his body, and then he gets plastic surgery.
Yeah.
So that way he can replace his old self. It's that simple.
So,
God,
that makes
why
sense.
didn't I see it sooner?
so Ryan, you had a very interesting story to share about MMA fighting and pinatas?
Oh, yes. So, there's a pay-per-view next Saturday called Ellis Mania. It's run by a comedian. His name's Jason Ellis,
This could
who
only go
has
well.
like only two. He had two pro fights and he won both. So, for whatever reason, he has a MMA themed like fighting. Like he has boxing, MMA. The one event, it's mostly in a boxing ring. The one event, there's two piñatas in the ring, and underneath the piñatas are two MMA fighters, and the two people with the bats that are trying to hit the piñatas are, trying not to get punched in the face while hitting the piñatas.
And the pinata people are professional comedians, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to find like what the card is. These two comedians that I listen to on their podcasts, they're fighting. They're the only MMA fight. Then there's the guy who runs it has a boxing match. I think there's a couple bare knuckle fights. But, go to officialjasonellis.com and check that out. This is like, you order the pay-per-view through that. I think it's $10. So,
But
yeah,
are
there's
they-
also,
I need to ask, those bare knuckle fights, are they taking place on top of a Boeing 747?
Oh, oh my God, that was a wonderful thing.
Yes, it was. Continue, Orion.
yeah, that's next Saturday, the 26th or the 25th. I think it's the 25th. I'm just trying to see like what time it starts. I think it's like 5 o'clock Eastern because they're doing it in Las Vegas.
So you can win money and then
Yep.
go see an amazing fight.
Mm-hmm.
Or conversely, you can see an amazing fight and then lose all your money.
Huh.
Which, I feel like the latter is more likely to happen. That's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me. Go gamble your hearts away, kids. Put it into loot boxes. It's clearly the best gambling thing you can ever do. On the upside, there seems to be less and less of those coming out in games.
Yes.
People are trying to steer clear of that shit now. Although for how long before they try to sneak them back in again, I don't know. Oh. So, who's next?
You?
Me? Oh, okay. So, you know how great this hot and humid weather's been?
Yes.
Do you want to know how great it is when you don't have an air conditioner?
I'm so sorry.
Do you want to know what's even worse?
No.
Pretty sure it was my brother that did it. And he did it when he left to go on vacation out camping with his girlfriend and a couple of other friends of his. So he left. I came home to an air conditioner that didn't work that day and had to deal with it. We pulled out an old air conditioner we had in our attic, put it in. It worked for the night, and then it died. It worked then, right? Like, I think we spent... Okay, so we got... The first air conditioner was in. It went kaput after my brother left. And I wake up before he does, so he turned it off. I didn't. We managed to get it working again for one more night, and then it wouldn't work again after that. After, like, tweaking with it a bit. Right? Then it wouldn't work. So we brought down another one from up in the attic. I think I spent like a night without it, and it sucked. So then we brought one down from the attic, put it in, after like cleaning it off and shit, and it worked, which was great. And then my brother came back, and then that night, once he came back, he broke it again.
Ugh.
I don't know what he's doing to these air conditioners, but he's breaking them every time. I swear to God, it's a curse. He just breaks an air conditioner every time he turns it off now.
Ugh.
So then we had to order an air conditioner. And again, this took like, I think 2 days that we were sitting there with no AC, just melting. And then finally the air conditioner came. And then this is why I couldn't do any recording with you the other night. I had, after working for like 12 hours, getting home at 8:30, eating and showering, I had to install 2 different air conditioners. I had to pull the one out that's in the downstairs area, pull that one out because the one we picked up new is a bigger one. And that one's going in down here since it'll like help cool more rooms down here since most of the rooms down here aren't shut off by doors. It's kind of just like a straight through way. So we had to install this new one that we had no idea exactly how it was going to fit in and everything. And then we had to take the one that we pulled out from this area and put it up in my room. So I had to technically install 2 air conditioners, uninstall one and then install 2. And it ended up taking me with my dad's help, 2.5 hours.
Ugh.
So I didn't get to sleep. I barely had a half hour on my computer before I had to go and sleep for work again the next day.
Ugh.
It was a fun time. Let me tell you, sir. Ooh.
Oh, I am sorry.
Oh, it's been so fun.
But at least we have a good anime to talk about today.
Oh boy.
Yay.
You say good. I know what comes up next.
Oh. Let's not get into that until the
I'll enjoy this one I'll enjoy this one while it lasts, but oh boy.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Since today we'll be recording this episode and the next in one session, so yay, best of both worlds. Okay, Orion.
Yeah.
Beyond the Boundary.
I could mean a lot of things.
It's a very open-ended one.
I guess my immediate thought was like a Matrix type thing. Like people live in a virtual reality, and they kind of find the end of the map, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah,
that
on
would
the
be an
boundaries
interesting
really.
way of saying it, though. I feel like there'd be a more clever title for an anime like that.
wasn't
Maybe.
there an anime that inspired the Matrix with Mega City or something? I think it was Mega City or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Shockingly, I haven't watched much of The Matrix.
Yeah, I think I fall asleep at the same time and wake up at the same time every time I watch it.
The first one
There's
was
parts of
good.
it.
The other two were meh. And the Matrix was pretty good.
What's a funny story, Mark?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
This is according to Wikipedia, dark fantasy, romance, and supernatural.
Huh. So, it's like Ghost.
Kind of, since it involves monsters and demons and cute girls with glasses who look very good with glasses. Here,
A bespectacled beauty, as one might say.
Spectacle beauty.
How
Like a
unpleasant.
librarian.
Kyokai desu.
I think in the teaser I said how disgusting, but it's actually how unpleasant.
Yeah, it's been a little while since you and I watched this one. I think like a year or so.
Yeah, you actually said we should have watched this when Andrew was still with us.
Probably.
This was actually a light novel, which, as we went over before, is a book with manga pictures. So, it's like 80% text, 20% manga. Yeah, kind of like a picture book, but more text heavy.
Yeah.
An occasional illustration to help bring out. And that was published from June 2002 to December 2003? Oh, okay, 3 volumes. Compilation. Okay. And actually, over that same time as the light novel was wrapping up, the anime was on from October 2013 to December 2013. With a movie about 2 years later.
Oh, shit.
Technically two. One was more of an overview of the main series, and the other one was not a sequel, but more like an actual, an epilogue. That's the best way to put it.
So much like one of the anime that we'll be covering in the near future, it had 2 movies to cap it off. One more of a compilation of the series, one as a definite conclusion.
That's right.
So our main character is immortal.
I'm not quite sure if you want to consider him the main character.
Wait, is it immortal? Is he a god? What is he?
He is a half Yomu, which is kind of a demon?
Oh, cool.
It's some kind of supernatural creature. It's not really clear.
Well,
they have a variety of looks as to what they are.
Yes. One Yomu can turn into a small house cat.
Mm-hmm.
And her quote-unquote sister can become a
giant, fox?
Yeah, a 10-foot tall, 9-tailed fox.
The fuck?
And our main female character is a demon hunter. So since Akihito is a half-demon, she tries to kill him on numerous occasions before finally becoming his friend.
Let's put it this way. She's also not very skilled as a demon hunter when she first starts off. He literally just, knocks over a locker, gets her trapped in it, she cuts her way out of it, and she's just sitting there unable to see, thinking she's blind, and she's just got a bucket on her head.
So they're not that smart.
She is...
She's ditzy.
Unprofessional.
Okay.
Yeah, ditzy. Ditzy would be a wonderful way to put it.
Also, I should mention that she's, got, hemokinesis. So she has, blood manipulation powers.
Yeah, say blood manipulation.
Yeah, she can turn her
cool.
blood into a sword.
That's the thing, too. I was curious, because it seems really limited in what she can do, right? She can only make it into the sword. I've never seen her do anything else besides that.
Well, she can...
Aside from, throwing it out in, spurts and stuff.
Yeah, spraying it from the sword as, a projectile.
Yeah, but I meant, shaping it. She really can't besides the sword. Also, her blood has, acidic properties as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So, which is why she hurls it out as, a projectile at some points. But yeah, she never shapes it into anything else besides the sword, so I don't know if she can do more than just that.
And let's just get to one of Conver's character tropes that he absolutely loves girls with glasses.
Oh yeah, when he first sees her, she sees her at the top of the building and assumes that she's going to throw herself off of the school roof to kill herself. And his first line is like, "No, wait. How could a beautiful girl in glasses throw herself off the roof to kill herself when she looks so good in glasses?"
So
he's kind of got a fetish for glasses.
So she backflips behind him and just stabs him with her blood sword.
Really?
Yep.
Does he?
And she's like, "Hi, could you please get that out of me?"
I can't really die, but this still hurts a lot.
So I watched this series, and you watched the overview movie, so
Yeah.
it may be definitely will be a lot speedier along, covering the entire series in 90 minutes.
Well, that's the thing, too. Like, watching the OVA, they basically gave you, I'm gonna say, a fast-forwarded version of the first episode, barely anything in the middle, and then, the last 2 episodes.
So it cut out my favorite episode.
It cut out majority of the center.
Oh, but my favorite episode was with the musical special to prevent, to stop the scent monster.
The scent monster? Was it a giant nose?
No, it's this giant blob of
Shit.
It's a giant eyeball. Look at it this way. It's I think it's got flowers on top of it. Then it's got a big, bulb underneath, which is like an eyeball. And then it's got, what looks like roots coming out of the bottom of it.
Ew.
And it's like a water balloon filled with the most vile smelling thing possible. And when it's scared, it kind of, self-destructs.
It pulls the skunk attribute and just throws out the scent everywhere.
Jeez.
And
That's disgusting.
It supposedly is the absolute worst smelling thing, and showering does not always help.
Who was it? I forget who it was, but somebody said they showered 5 times and it still stank.
Oh.
I forget if it was Akihito or if it was the sister character.
Yeah, it was the sister.
Okay, yeah. Also, we should mention the 2 other friends that are involved that are also demon hunters.
What are they?
Hiromi, yes. Who's the older brother and apparently just has an obsession with sticking his hands underneath Akihito's armpits to get them warm, as he claims. And he has a sister complex.
Oh, okay.
So he'll sneak up behind Akihito, and just shove his hands under Akihito's armpits without acting like he's doing anything wrong, carrying on the conversation normally.
It's only natural when your hands are cold to try and warm them.
Although, he does have an extreme sensitivity to cold, so even in the summer, he's wearing a scarf.
Mm-hmm.
Which is his special ability.
Just to wear a scarf?
He can manipulate the scarf like a whip.
Yes, I would say a whip is probably the closest thing of it, but yes.
Well, kind of more like the Simon Belmont's Vampire Hunter whip. That can, slice through things, rather than just whack
Well, he
people.
can harden it, I would say, at that point. He can harden it to slice through things, or sharpen it, I guess, would be another way of saying it. It's not really clear, but it just shows what it does. Whether it's hardening and it's just hitting it flat and cutting, or if it's actually sharpening the edge of the scarf itself, I don't know.
And the more we discussed this, pre-Fever Gaming, a few weeks ago, you pointed out this series has a few potholes in.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah, but the movie...
Mainly with the ending.
Yeah, the movie kind of resolves it, while
Not really.
opening a bunch more plot holes.
Yeah.
But it's still
So
pretty
many
good.
holes. Is it like Swiss cheese or?
No.
Swiss cheese?
We'll get to a Swiss cheese one later.
Oh, yes.
No. There's like, I'm gonna say maybe 2 or 3 plot holes in this. There's a Swiss cheese coming up later, buddy.
Oh boy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Dig it. Damn it, why didn't we give Hogan that voice?
Oh, we should have.
That's macho.
I'll need to redo that.
Ryan just said that's Macho Man, so.
Close enough.
Okay.
Anyway, right. What about the sister character? Because I'm blanking on her name. Mitsuki, that's right. She's got like a little squirrel like Yomu that partners up with her, that does like the fighting for the most part, if I remember right. I don't think she actually uses a weapon of her own.
No.
Also, she's constantly like verbally abusing Akihito constantly.
Oh, so.
And in part that's because he tries to get her to wear glasses.
So, aren't you going to take me out tonight? I'm going out with Kuriyama? Oh well. And Mirai is broke ass poor.
Oh yeah, constantly. But the first way that Akihito gets her to stop attacking him is by treating her to dinner. And then she like nearly eats him like out of like money.
But she needs to eat a lot. Like
she's got to make
takes
up.
A lot out of her.
Yeah, right. Like if she loses blood, you know, she gets
anemic.
What's that? Yes, she needs to fix that anemic quality. You know, she's got to regenerate more blood cells.
She doesn't get sickle cell?
Yeah, gotta fix that by, you know, feeding your system and getting it to, you know, increase in volume.
And I know we're just talking about characters rather than going more into the plot, but Akihito's mother, oh boy,
literally insane.
Also, the plot?
Oh, we'll get to some points in a minute.
Yes.
But yes, Akihito's mother is literally like the most bipolar person I've ever seen. Like literally, there's a point where she's just dressed one half as like a nurse and the other half in like a suit and tie. And she's just like bouncing around on the bed between each personality. I'm like, what the fuck is even happening?
Well, she is a cosplayer / demon hunter.
I don't even know what she is.
But she does give Akihito demon hunter advice.
Yes, but she also, in the movie, right, she also points out that she doesn't exactly exist as a person. She's quote unquote something that's watched over this world for God knows how long. We don't know what the fuck she is.
So could she be the Yomu half?
If she is, she's very good at hiding herself as a non-Yomu, as a human.
Yeah, because they were saying his father was a Yomu.
Yeah, which would mean she would have to be a mother. The mother would have to be human. Or maybe vice versa. The point is, we never see his father, so we can never confirm any of this.
His father's a demon for sure.
Yes, but the way it's phrased, Akihito's mother has been around for, quote-unquote mother, has been around for literal hundreds of thousands of years.
Maybe she destroyed her husband death by snoo. And that's why he's not around anymore.
I mean, I feel like the father probably would have offed himself because he couldn't handle the bipolar disorder she's got.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Basically, this is about them hunting down Yomu, which are kind of demons that came from, what was like the mid-season boss? The Hollow Shadow.
Yes.
Which is this wave that comes along that takes away people's abilities to, Yomu's abilities to exist peacefully?
I don't think it was to exist peacefully. I think it was the way they're like, didn't it make them all really drowsy and tired?
Oh, yes.
And that wasn't like the mid-season boss. That was just an event that happened.
I thought that happened around episodes 3 and 4, which actually made Kamura's demon side emerge.
I'm probably thinking of the movie then. Yeah, I'm thinking of the movie. No, it was something different that happened there. Yeah, but yes, it is. Speaking of which, this is where the name comes into play. He's partially got beyond the boundary, which is this giant-ass Yomu inside of him. Like, from what it's described as, the thing's got enough juice that it could literally take down, like, at least a good chunk of the world, if not all of it, if it was fully released.
And he is half human, half beyond the boundaries. So, he's a danger to human society.
The reason that the other demon hunters let him exist is because if they try to hurt him and he gets hurt to a certain degree, Beyond the Boundary will take over as like a self-defense mechanism because the human half can't handle it.
Okay.
And at that point, Akihito no longer has control over himself. Like, he goes full-on berserker mode.
He can break through shields. He could...
Yeah, they make magical shields, too, by the way. I don't think we mentioned that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the demon hunters can. And I think the Yomu can, too. Like, regular Yomu can.
And killing a demon gets you special currency.
Gold?
Because...
It gets you a stone. Their core is like some kind of gemstone that they can then like trade in for cash.
Okay.
Which is how Mirai is like trying to live.
An interesting thing.
Also, sorry, hold on.
Okay.
She also has an obsession with bonsai trees.
Oh yes, yes. And if she would not have so many bonsai, she might actually have some money.
She might be able to eat on a regular basis.
And interesting thing is, as I was trying to remember it, I'm like, is Mirai from the future at all? Because in Japanese, Mirai actually means future.
No.
It doesn't.
It does. That is not what the name means as far as like...
Her name.
Yes.
Okay, so
like it doesn't have any connotation to the story as far as I'm aware.
Okay, so like the one writing of it means future, while other writings could mean other things.
Well, that's not what I should say. What I'm saying is it doesn't pertain to anything, just because her name means future. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't pertain to anything in the story.
But once I was watching it and finished it, I'm like, oh yeah, this has nothing to do with the fact that her name is Mirai.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't. Her name has nothing to go into play in this other than just maybe thematics.
And I found it interesting that the titles all had a color in it.
Yep. Do we want to get into plot holes at this point?
Oh yeah.
We've kind of mentioned the whole mother aspect as a plot hole because it doesn't ever make sense. She's just kind of there for the sake of like exposition and plot dumping.
Our main villain, as revealed in the epilogue movie, his whole plot may have to do with the fact that he's potentially stalking somebody, and he's like, hey, if I kill everybody else, we'll be the only buddy left.
Yeah. Like, his main motivation doesn't make much sense. But let's also point out the fact that in the ending, and for anyone listening, we're hitting spoiler territory, so go watch the series, come back, or whatever, if you don't want to be spoiled.
So, Akihito becomes Beyond the Boundary, and to stop Beyond the Boundary from rampaging, Mirai kind of kills herself / seals herself inside Akihito's soul to quell Beyond the Boundary?
Less. What I got out of it was that she released Beyond the Boundary from Akihito, so it's no longer inside of him, and she went to, like, fight it. Like, because Beyond the Boundary is huge. That's why it's called Beyond the Boundary. Like, it's a secondary horizon line almost. It is massive. But actually, you know what? Here's a better idea. Remember the moon from Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time?
I guess.
Think of that size of a thing, just hovering in the air.
I think you mean Majora's Mask.
Oh, it was Majora's Mask. That's right, yes. The moon from Majora's Mask. But yes, it's like a massive fucking, like, planet-sized thing just hovering in the sky. And Mirai goes inside of that in order to fight it. Which kind of then becomes like a mirrored version of the town with nobody in it except for like a construct of Akihito. Because at this point those two have fallen in love. Even though they don't admit it to each other. She ends up fighting it. Akihito then gets like a stone that at one point while he was overtaken had been broken out of it. Had been taken out of him. So by reabsorbing that, he's able to somewhat get Beyond the Boundary back in his control. So, because Mirai is inside Beyond the Boundary, Akihito goes in, she can no longer exist because to go inside, she had to destroy her own physical body. So she's more of a mental projection at that point. So when Akihito fully takes control back, Mirai can no longer exist in the outside world. Her body's gone. But, you know, we get to the end of the series, and there she is on the rooftop again for some reason.
It's never explained how or why. My guess is the power of love brought her back.
But it makes no sense.
I know it does.
There's no precedent for that existing.
I
like,
know it
literally,
does.
we get like a monologue from Akihito who's like, I don't know if it was Beyond the Boundary, or I don't know if it was this or that, but there she was.
And she has amnesia.
Yeah, that's not revealed until we get into the epilogue movie that she has amnesia.
Because at the end of the TV series, like, finally...
We just get her smiling at Akihito.
Yes.
That's it.
It's like, hey, I'm back!
And I'm just sitting here like, what the hell?
And he even says, like, will you wear these glasses? She puts them on, smiles, and then probably right after cut to black, she's like, and who are you?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how the fucking epilogue movie starts. And I'm just sitting there like, you never explained how she exists again.
So, all throughout the first half of the movie, Akihito wants nothing to do with Mirai because he doesn't want her to be hurting anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mirai throughout the entirety of the series is kind of like, she's kind of been an outcast her entire life and lived a lot, like through a lot of pain because she's from a quote-unquote cursed bloodline.
Which doesn't really have an answer either.
It's not really explained why they're considered cursed.
Is it because they can form weapons out of their blood, or?
I have no idea. Like, maybe it's explained in the light novel, but I don't remember a reason being given in the anime.
There was also an OVA episode out after the original anime, but I didn't watch that.
Neither did I. I didn't even know it existed. But yeah, anyway. Point is, there's a lot of problems with this because it's just like she's here again. Why? But yeah, like you were saying, basically, Akihito doesn't want her to be absorbed into this world that's just a huge pain for her to exist in. Like, he wants her to live a normal schoolgirl life. Which, here's my other problem, is the thing that that she wanted for him at the end of the series. At the end of the anime series, she basically made sure that he could live a normal life, right? By getting rid of Beyond the Boundary from him. He could live as a normal human. And he comes rushing in to save her saying, fuck this, I never asked for this, but now here we are in the movie and he's doing the exact same thing she did, giving her something she never asked for.
And let's just talk about the main villain of the series, who has, like...
He has any screen time?
No, and he has, like, snakes coming out of one eye, like worms. Snakes.
I was gonna say more like worms, not snakes. Maybe even leeches?
Maybe? And we find out in the movie, because he doesn't have much screen time in the anime, that he injected himself with a Yomu so he could also inject Hiromi and Mitsuki's older sister with that same Yomu so they could be compatible for each other? Or some bullshit? I don't know.
It doesn't make sense at all. I need to bring everyone into the darkness. It's the best.
And that way, you and I can be together forever. We can remake this planet.
I don't.
Captain Planet.
I just hate villains whose plan is, I'm going to destroy the world. Or
That's
a
stuff
lot of
like that.
Well, here's the thing, right? That Yomo was transferred through sight, right?
Uh-huh.
That was the idea. And the whole thing is, like, you can't really get rid of it at that point. Once it's inside of you. Everyone in that movie looked into somebody else's eyes and got that Yomo transferred into them. Everyone. Just because they're able to suppress it, does that mean that won't transfer from them to somebody else anymore?
I don't know.
Because, the power of love trumps, the darkness in your heart or whatnot is apparently the case. But that doesn't make sense because it doesn't show the Yomu going away. It just means they're not being, like, absorbed by their own, like, self-hatred and loathing.
And just doing a quick sidestep to other villains and stuff like that, what series was it? I think it may have been Kamen Rider Den-O, where the movie villain wanted to destroy time itself, so he could exist outside of time. And I'm like, that is the world's worst thing. Like, if you destroy time, how can you exist outside of time if time doesn't exist?
You would literally just be eternal.
Okay,
Like, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. You could literally say that since time isn't passing, it's literally just, you're frozen. You can do nothing. Nothing changes. Nothing is altered. You don't even get to move. It's just a permanent state of stasis. Or you could say, because I'm outside of time, I'm no longer affected by what time would do to me. Which means I am ageless. I am permanent. I will never go away.
And just like villains saying, oh, I want to destroy the world, so I could be king of the world. Wait, how does that even work?
Oh, I mean, if you're the only one left, clearly you can call yourself a king. I mean, de facto at that point, you are a king, or a queen, or whatever title you want. You're the only one left.
I'm not
No one can stop you.
I'm not saying Moroku is the worst villain we've had, and, definitely not the worst we will see. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, next week. Yeah, but he's not that great of a villain in the greater scope of villains. I would say some Disney villains are more threatening than he is in some respects of the term.
Team Rocket's probably more threatening than he is.
But he's so friendly! Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, there's an episode where James gets boobs. And cross-dresses.
Oh yes, the beach episode.
Actually, they were on a cruise ship. Unless there was a second one that I'm not thinking of.
It was banned in America for like...
Yeah, and I thought it was on a cruise ship that they did that.
No, I'm pretty sure it was a beach episode.
Maybe. Either way.
Okay.
Point is, man cross-dressing with boobs.
Yes. Yes.
And-
I think he actually pulled a string and they abandoned at that point.
Yes, yes.
Stupid as that is.
And didn't Jessie also cross-dress as a man sometimes?
Yeah, she was constantly wearing, like, men's clothing, too, at points. Like, I can remember specific episodes of her, like, dressing up as an old man in a suit.
And then James was the female for some weird-ass reason.
I mean, I guess you could say it fits their personalities. Jessie's definitely the more dominant of the two.
But enough about Pokemon. Let's go back to ending Beyond the Boundary.
Beyond the Boundary.
So, and in the movie, Moroku is trying to bring out Beyond the Boundary again, but he realizes, oh, no, I really can't do this. So he killed himself.
Damn.
He didn't kill himself. The Yomu eats away at him.
Oh, okay.
Like,
okay.
literally the Yomu will eventually kill you. That's the point.
Oh, that's right.
Like, but in the meantime, it brings everyone into, like, that dark despair place.
But wait. If he manages to succeed, the Yomu will have eaten away at him by the time his plan comes to fruition. What was his end goal?
To make everyone suffer, I guess?
Maybe?
I mean, at that point, you start wondering if it's the Yomu at that point that's in control and actually saying these things, or if it's him.
Like I said, this has a few plot holes. Overall, it was pretty good.
I mean, if it's the Yomu, it makes sense at that point, because it's a demon that just hates humanity. If it's actually him, then, like, what the fuck?
Overall, I would say this is like 8 out of 10.
If you can overlook the plot holes, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like, until you get to those points and you actually take a second to think about it, it's pretty good. Even the fight sequences, even though they're not super elaborate, they're pretty good.
So, Ryan, will you have any interest in watching this?
I don't know. I would have to be, like, really bored and not want to watch anything.
It's very
else.
much more of a shoujo anime for, like, girls.
Okay.
Or at least that's the main target, I would say. But there's enough in there to, you know, instigate a guy or something to watch it.
Yeah, there's a whole creepy supernatural aspect of it can be on guys. And
I mean, the blood blade alone
like,
is a badass weapon.
Oh, yes. So she always needs to keep her hand bandaged, or else the blood will constantly leak out. But my thing is, doesn't it leak through the bandage sometimes?
I don't think so.
Is it some magical bandage and all that can keep the blood in?
Maybe. I don't really know about the bandage itself. I know the ring is.
Oh yes, like the extra powerful suppression ring.
Yeah, the ring that was literally made out of the body of her mother.
Oh yeah. Well, from this week's blood, gore, demons, cute girls, next week we'll have sins and androids and lots and lots of headaches. Oh my god.
I feel like I need to mention this, but there's going to be someone that you're really gonna like. You might even call him your friender.
Oh yes.
It's so dumb!
It is. Oh god.
It's so dumb!
Oh, there is a reason for that. There is a reason for that, and I will reveal it next week on Ready Discuss Anime. So, until then, laters.
Why did I do
See ya.
this to myself?
There, buddy. There.